Day 2 of joint practices with the Cleveland Browns, and the Eagles came out fired up, ready to go, and we had not just one scrum, not just two scrums, not just three scrums, but 4 different scrums as the Eagles defense took it to the first team Browns offense. And speaking of offense, the Eagles offense was on point today as DeVonta Smith could not be stopped. This is the intensity I look for. This is Eagles football. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, Kick Dingbat here, and hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. So day 2 of joint practices with the Cleveland Browns just went down, and I gotta tell you, this practice has me fired up. I'm ready to put a helmet on. I'm ready to run through the room. I'm ready to run through a wall, brick wall. I don't care what it is. This got me fired up. Why? Because this defense came out chippy. They came out fired up. They came out intense. And then you had not just one scrum, not just 2 scrums, not just 3 scrums, but 4 different scrums where the defense got into it with the Cleveland Browns. And if this is what we can expect from our defense this year, I love it. Now, before we get into that and so much more, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, the most throttled Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, I just want to thank you once again for all the support you give to me. It really means a lot. And we will definitely be streaming Thursday night, so come hang out. Should be a lot of fun. Although I hope we get as many scrums and fights as we got today at practice. Now, as always, we start off these training camp videos with the Eagles injury report. Here's what Dave Zangaro had to say. Eagles injury report: will not practice. Britton Covey, hamstring. Landon Dickerson, foot. So he's dealing with a foot injury. From what we heard about this and what some of the comments that have been said about it is that Landon Dickerson, it's more of a precautionary measure. So I think he's not going to miss any time in terms of the regular season. Patrick Johnson, ankle. Hassan Reddick, thumb. Now, we're going to talk more about that in a second. And then, of course, Quez Watkins, hamstring. Now, the Reddick injury, what they're saying about that is it's a thumb injury, and the Eagles are going to bring Reddick back slowly, but they don't expect him to miss any regular season time. So this will not affect Hassan Reddick in the regular season. He will be ready to go, but he's not going to do anything much until then. As long as Reddick, Landon Dickerson, as long as these guys are back before the start of the regular season, that's really all we can ask for. That's really all we can ask for, and I can deal with that. Jason Kelsey was at practice today. Now, the Eagles today at practice took it to a different level. They were intense, they were feisty, they were mean, and this is exactly what I like to see from this team, especially the defense. And the defense was not playing today, okay? There was not just one scrum. There was not just 2 scrums. There was not just 3 scrums. There were 4 separate scrums, and the Browns didn't take kindly to the Eagles' aggressive defense. If this is the kind of defense we're going to get, I tell you what, I love it. To me, this already I like better than we had with Jonathan Gannon. Now, we got to talk about Reed Blankenship. 2 interceptions today. This guy continues to make plays in practice and at camp, and I think he's going to do the same thing during the season. He is absolutely locked that safety position in, and it looks like Sidney Brown is getting more reps with the first team. So I really think right now the inside job to that safety spot is Sidney Brown and Reed Blankenship. I think they're your starters. At least it's going to be. One of the Blankenship's interceptions came off a tip pass by Zach Cunningham, and then Sidney Brown made a block after the interception, and a fight ensued. It got really intense, right? That the coaches had to come in and actually break it up. And then a few plays later, you had a scrum with Kavon Wallace and the Browns running back Jim Kelly. They got into it. And then there was a third scrum where you had, of course, how would you ever think this guy would miss out on a fight or a scrum? Derek Barnett gets into it for the third time, and boy, it just was one fight after another. And then you had the fourth scrum of the day when you have Jalen Carter throwing Pro Bowler Joel Paterno to the ground after a play. He's just different. He don't care who you are. He is going to take you out if need be. This was an intense day at practice. And this was how Nick Sirianni said he wanted to see this team come out, be very intense. He felt that things were a little bit lackluster and relaxed yesterday, and so therefore they came out today, not just the defense, but the offense as well, and we'll get into them in a second. But they were fired up. They were definitely fired up. Now, there are some interesting things here that happened with the defense. James Bradberry was taking snaps in the slot position. I'm curious to see how they're planning on using him. Could they use him in situations, maybe put him on certain tight ends? You know, when you play some of the better tight ends in the league, would you put him on a tight end? I think Bradberry would do actually pretty good against a tight end. I think if you look at the way Bradberry plays, he handles big physical guys better than the speedy fast guys. So that could be a very interesting situation. Josh Sweat, another fantastic day for Josh Sweat. At least 2 sacks today. Josh Sweat has been all over the place. And listen, you gotta like how he has been playing. He's looked very, very good. The defense ended this thing on a interception by Josh Jobe in the end zone. I should also mention that Reed Blankenship's second interception came on 8-on-8s in the end zone. So Eagles got the better of the Cleveland Browns offense today. There is no question about it. And many people are saying that the Eagles won the day. Some people thought that the Eagles lost the day yesterday. I don't know. You can't really keep score of who won or lost the days of practice. But we can look at, how players perform, how intense they are, and I think that was a big deal. Also, one thing is absolutely certain about today with practice. The Cleveland Browns do not have an answer for DeVonta Smith. This isn't just yesterday or today. This is even last year. If you go back to last year and when we had the joint practices with the Browns last year, DeVonta Smith was all over the place. They could not stop DeVonta Smith. Again, today, DeVonta Smith got the better of the Cleveland Browns defense, had a couple touchdowns, and he looks absolutely fantastic. I will say this, both quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts, had a much better day than yesterday, a lot more accurate. Came out with consecutive touchdowns, looked really good. Marcus Mariota, we got to talk about Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota came out today, and he looked really, really good. He threw 4 touchdowns, according to Elliott Short-Parks, a boy. He keeps track of all these. But they come out, 4 touchdowns. TYREE, Cleveland, another big day. With Quez Watkins out and Oz getting a lot of reps, and Cleveland moving up the depth charts. If I'm Quez Watkins, I get back as soon as I possibly can, because these guys are out there and they're playing well and they're getting reps, and I think that's really hurting Quez Watkins. I'd like to see him get out there and perform. Now, yesterday, the media was saying that the Browns purely won the day. They took it to the Eagles. Well, today, not the case. They are saying that the Eagles definitely won the day, came out much more intense, much more aggressive, and the Browns weren't bad, but the Browns just couldn't keep up with the Philadelphia Eagles. This roster is talented, this roster is deep, and this roster is going to do a lot of damage in the NFL this year. Here's the thing. I've also got to make a correction because I'm reading my notes and I'm old man and I got bad eyes. I probably need glasses. But I said Reed Blankenship 2 interceptions. Actually, it was 3 interceptions. Reed Blankenship went out and had 3 interceptions today. Are we seeing the development and the emergence of a star safety for the Philadelphia Eagles? I know it's early, I know it's practice, but if you look at his game last year, where Reed Blankenship was out there and he was a heat-seeking missile, he was hitting everybody. He was a good hitter. Not, pass coverage, we needed to see work. Well, this year at camp, pass coverage-wise, he's all over the place. Wherever the ball is, he seems to find it. He seems like he's got some ball hawk instincts to him. And like I said earlier in this video, I think you're going to see Sidney Brown and Reed Blankenship be your 2 starting safeties, and I'm okay with it. I think it's a great thing for the Philadelphia Eagles. I am looking forward to this preseason game this week versus the Browns. I don't know how much we'll see the starters, if at all, but some of these battles that we have going on, it was good to hear that Marcus Mariota was much better today than he had been so far, especially passing. 4 touchdown passes for him is a good thing. So I want to see him come out, have a better game. I'm just hoping Ian Book doesn't play at all. I would have Mariota start first half, and then I would have probably Tanner McKee play the entire second half. We'll talk about that tomorrow when we talk about and preview the preseason game. Anyways, it wasn't a long practice. It was a very intense practice, and the Eagles took it to the Cleveland Browns. So a big W for us today. You got to love this team. And with that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. I love Sidney Brown. More and more, I think this kid is a player too. We may actually be okay at safety with Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown. But they asked Sidney Brown, questions today about playing in the NFL and things like that. And he had just the best answer. It's just a great quote. He says he wants to be a feared player in this league. In order to make yourself a feared player, you've got to bring the lumber. You got to knock people out. You got to hit people hard. And you got to be intense. If this is what we're getting from him, if this is what he wants, we got ourselves a find in Sidney Brown. And we should be happy that the Eagles' safety position is turning out to be the way it is. It looks like we may be way better at the safety position than we ever thought we were to start the season. People wanted trades. People wanted guys. Well, we may not need them because these guys are playing. Denzel Washington out.